Hi everyone. Check we're all connected. Oops. Hi Caroline. Anybody else watching? Looks like it's just me and you at the moment, Caroline. Where's Jean? Jean must be around somewhere. So we're definitely running on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll go. A small but select group. We've got some jumping on now on Facebook, which is good. Right, slowly but surely. Let's put my laptop out of the way. I'll give you something to look at. Let me get rid of that. And we'll look at what. Hi, June. Look at one of Bonnie's beautiful samples while we're waiting for people to jump on. While I swig my coffee. It's a beautiful day here in Hampshire. Sun's out. Guns are definitely not out. Don't worry, Leslie. You can always watch it on catch up and it will be on my YouTube channel. We can't see you. Can you see a picture of the gnomes from Bonnie? You should be able to see that. It was there when I looked on YouTube anyway. Just double check. I'm sure we're running on YouTube okay. Yeah, it looks like it's running. Oh, you're just a little bit behind, that's all. You're just a little bit behind. YouTube runs a little bit behind sometimes. I can see something else. So can you see that now? We've got one of the new stamps on the screen now. There's always a difference between Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so what do you need to know? You need to know that Fairy Hugs are launching a brand new collection tomorrow on Let Leonie Loose on Create and Craft. That's at 11 AM and 3 PM. And all the new stamps will also be available on my website from midnight tomorrow night. I'm not allowed to sell them until midnight. I do have them here. I've had them for a couple of weeks, so my stock is here ready to go. As soon as your orders come in, and when I get up on Thursday morning, I'll start packing it and send out as many as I possibly can on Thursday. Obviously, if you're ordering from Create and Craft, then oh, my son's going to get a parcel by the looks of it. Yeah, if you're ordering on Create and Craft, then you have to normally wait between 7 to 10 days before it's dispatched, because obviously it comes over from America. That's Alexa. Someone's at the front door. I hate it. It's just so loud. That's all right, Sue. Don't worry. So yes, so midnight tomorrow night. You'll also be able to find them. So from my website, you'll find them here, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. That's shipping to UK addresses, and all the catalogue is available now, aside from the new designs. Oh, hang on, let me shut the door. Chaos here. So the new designs will be available from midnight tomorrow night on my website. You can also find, you'll also be able to find them from tomorrow from fairyhugs.com, which is in the States, and that is for worldwide shipping. Obviously, if you're in the UK, you don't really want to be buying from Fairy Hugs, because you'll be paying for shipping and probably import duties, and even sometimes a raw mail charge, so you don't want to do that. So let's show you all the new designs. As you can see, we've got there one there on the screen, and that's the veggie line, and it is a garden theme, but you will find that there are already a lot of stamps that will work for your garden themed makes in the catalogue, and these just add to them. And you can have lots and lots of fun with the veggie line, and you can manipulate it, and I'll show you some of Art Angel's samples where she's had lots of fun with that one. So there's 17 new stamps, which isn't as many as there normally is, but it does make it a bit more affordable, I suppose, because there's fewer of them. So the veggie line has got, you can't really tell there, but the vegetables have got, their little hangy bits have got little pegs, so they will actually fit on the line as well. They're not separate, they're all part of it. Then we've got the garden chair, and those little tiny stamps that are with it are little tiny owls. They're more like, I say fantasy owls. They're not necessarily kind of true to life, if you like the mini owls that we've got. But the chair, again, Art Angel's done a lot of different things to it. Then we've got the secret passage. And this is obviously an open door within a wooden wall. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful stamp. And you've got a vine or a tree growing up on the one side. Really, really love that one. These are your garden boots. So obviously these are for pixies or fairies, because they're little pointy toes to them. You've got roses in the top, and quite a few of the design team have just used the top section for a bit of foliage. And then you've got two little birdies, which are really, really, really useful. This is your veggie toadstool. So it's a toadstool. All the hanging vegetables are separate, so you can choose to use them or not use them. You've also got a hanging vine there, which you could put hanging from the toadstool, or you could put it obviously as foliage going up or down on your card. And then you've got a little birdie on there as well, which is really useful. He can obviously sit on the top or sit on whatever you want him to sit on. This is your garden door. Now we do have, there are three doors already in the catalogue, and they're minis. They're part of the Mini World collection. So this is bigger, and so you can use this obviously to make your scenes up. You can have the stone wall going either side of it. You can have other foliage or the trees going either side of it. There's lots that you can do with it. We've also got the gnome door in the catalogue as well, so you can use that instead of this if you want to. There's two fairies in this release. This is Juniper, and she's got, you can't really see, but she's got little flowers on her Wellington boots, and she's obviously picking or planting a flower there. Here's Willow. This is the second fairy. She's a very elegant fairy, on her tippy toes, really beautiful. There are no dragons in this collection, but we do have, and these are going to be mega popular, the gnomes, the garden gnomes. So you've got 5 gnomes in different poses, some of them looking very, very grumpy. And they've also got, one of them's holding a watering can. You've got a garden spade, you've got a couple of baskets, and you've got some carrots or parsnips as well. So these are going to be mega popular. Then to go with them, we've also got the garden tools. So this is a mini set, which has got a separate watering can, you've got a trowel and a fork, and then you've got like a rake, and then you've got, I think it's a shovel or a broom. Again, it's a small set, but it's going to work well with the garden gnomes. But you can also have Juniper and Willow holding them, and there's lots of fairies as well in the, even dragons that could be holding them as well. Then we've got the stone bridge, and this works very well with the mini stone wall as well. And you can have the gnomes peeking over the top of it. You can have it just replicate it and use it so you've got like a viaduct going on. Really useful again. And this is the bird bath. I don't know if you can see, but you'll see when you look at the samples, it's got a little door in it and a couple of windows. So this is, and it's got steps going up to it. So this is kind of the little house or little dwelling that we've got in this release. Obviously the birdies can sit on top, but you can also use your condo dwellers and your other dwellers as well with it. Then we've got the foliage. So this is your sleepy lavender, 2 different sizes in that. This is your drowsy toothworth, which I've never heard of ever. It could be an American thing, I don't know, but it's a rather lovely foliage, which is always useful. The hollow mint, which is a slightly bigger foliage. Again, really useful. There are 2 sentiments. So we've got friendship sunshine. Friendship is the best, what does it say, kind of sunshine. Yeah, I'm trying to read it on the screen. Friendship is the best kind of sunshine. And then you've got today and always, wishing you happiness today and always. So that's your new collection of 17 new stamp sets. I'll very quickly run you through the some of the samples that we've done. The studio will have samples from the UK design team. That's myself, Jess Barnes and Art Angel. There's nothing coming over from the States at the moment. We tend to just do them from the UK team, but obviously you'll be able to see Bonnie's work. She's already started sharing in the Fairy Hug Store Facebook group, and she's done some videos as well already. And you will see later this month, you'll see the social media design team doing some inspiration as well. So there's never any shortage of inspiration for these stamps. So when I normally get my collection, quite often I don't know where to start, because there's so many stamps and I just don't know what to do with them. And I always head over to my Mama Makes Rotate Mate and do normally a circular design. So this is just with the gnomes on a paper from the Shimmer Gust paper pad, which is on the shows tomorrow. And I have stock, obviously. And so we've got the gnomes, we've got some of the accessories in the gnome kit. We've got the basket and the spade, and the little veggies in the corner are from the veggie line set, and the hugs sentiment is from Fairy Words. So I haven't coloured it in. There was a lot of colouring to do, obviously, because there's a lot of gnomes. So sometimes it's nice to just do a monochrome. So that was my first make. So these are in order of the ones I've made, and I find that towards the end, and once I've actually finished working with them, I get loads of ideas, but that's always the way. So these will be in the studio. So this one I shared yesterday, so Juniper is in there, and I've stamped the gnome first and then stamped the chair around it. So he's kind of lying on the chair watching what she's doing, supervising. Here we've got the gnomes and the stone bridge and the veggie toadstool. And you'll see we've got the little mini stone wall there, and we've also got the stone walkway from the existing collection, and also one of the mini foxes. So you can see it's all going to work well together, and that paper is Frostblight. The bird bath and willow here, and the drowsy toothworth in the corner. I'll never get that right. And the happiness, what's it called? Today and always sentiment. You can really do them simple. If you take the Tumble Shine paper pad, you can do really stunning designs without doing very much at all. So here we've got Willow, the toadstool, and that's a little magic sentiment from one of the previous releases. So simple, but so effective, you know, not difficult at all. Another simple one here, just mask off an area, put a bit of ink through, and then I've used the flow stencil, and I've just put some of the gnomes and a couple of sentiments from the fairy words. Easy peasy. That's a little A6 card. I do quite like this one. We're going to do something similar to this in one of the demos. This is your garden door with Willow about to go into it, and we've got the fairy floral stencil around the edge, which is also on the show. The paper is from Frostblight, and the Today and Always, and I thought that might make a nice kind of new home card, really. So that sentiment, I think, actually does fit with other occasions, not just kind of love or wedding themed ones. Very similar. Willow and the Secret Passage, and the flow stencil around the edge there, and that's a Shimmer Gust paper pad. Bird Bath and Juniper here, and because we've got this Friendship is the Best Kind of Sunshine, that kind of sun that I've done there is actually from the Fairy Spiral stencil, and we will do that today as well to show you how to do that. Scene here, I've shared this before on Facebook, using some of the existing stamps. So the Love Shack is in the current catalogue, the wooden fence is in the current catalogue, the stone walkway is in the current catalogue, and then the little lights that are coming down from the toadstool from the Storyteller, which is the little boat from the last release. So you can definitely mix and match all over the place. The little birdies here are from the Garden Boots. And I also thought that the chair would be a great reading chair. So here, this is Polina from the previous collection, the Books 2 collection, and obviously Between Pages is one of the book sentiments there. So the chair is going to work with lots and lots of different stamps as well. You can sit some of your animals on it. You can even probably put some of the dragons on it. So there's lots you can do with the chair. Here's the veggie line here and the veggie toadstool. So you can see there, that's obviously kind of the gnome's garden. The paper there is Bumble Twinkle, and we've got the hollow mint at the top, and one of the mini caterpillars from the existing catalogue is in there. The birdies from the veggie toadstool. Again, you know, I like my tags and working again with all the stamps that exist in the current collection. I've put Kira, who's lying down at the bottom of the veggie toadstool reading a book. Again, I've used the lights from the Storyteller there. I've used one of the mini owls, and the relax is from the previous release. Then we're on to, oh no, one more of mine. This is the one I've shared today with the garden door in amongst that. That's the normal size stone wall, not the mini one, the normal size one. And I've got the lavender and the toothworth and the hollow mint on there. You've got the gnome with one of the garden tools in his hands, and one of the mini hairs from the existing catalogue. That's on the Shimmer Gust paper pad. Shimmer Gust works really, really well with this collection. I'd encourage you to get that one. Okay, let's look at some of Bonnie's samples. So these are some Bonnie's samples. I'm not going to talk through them because we've gone for 20 minutes already. So they're saying on Facebook that Juniper is a gin fairy. Okay, so these are Bonnie's samples. Absolutely beautiful. You won't see these in the studio because they haven't been sent over from the States, but you will see, look, Bonnie's used the mini castle there in the background, and she's used the wooden walkway leading up to the secret passage. Absolutely beautiful. But you will see them on the Fairy Hug Store Facebook group, and also in the Fairy Stamper Hugs Facebook group as well. Not to be missed. So if you don't belong there, I think Bonnie shared this one today. That's lovely, the way that she's done the lavender there around the bird bath. Yeah, do have a look at those groups. This is a video that's on the Fairy Hug Store YouTube channel, how to do that one. And then we're on to Jess Barnes, her samples here. Lots going on in this scene. Those naughty gnomes. The gnomes have been used all over the place. Everybody loves the gnomes. The gnomes are going to be super popular. And I have got a good stock of the gnomes, you'd be happy to know. Lots of use by Jess and by Art Angel of the veggie line. I'll show you Art Angels in a minute. You won't the thing is that we've done so many samples that I don't think they're going to have a chance to show them all on Leonie's show, but we'll see. Be interesting to see what Leonie does with them, actually. And can you see at the bottom those roses? Those roses are from the garden boots. And then we've got the lying down gnome at the top of the sentiment. I like that. And these look like the working party, don't they? It reminds me of a well-known Disney movie, doesn't it, really? Then we've got Art Angels. This one really flummoxed me to begin with. I thought, what on earth's going on here? But she's done a zip line, and she's turned the garden chair upside down to make the platform from the zip line down to the bird bath. It's just brilliant. And here's the veggie line here. The veggie line's kind of sagging because of the weight of the gnome on it. And you can do that. Obviously, it's a little bit harder with the stamping platform, but if you're using an acrylic block, and this isn't it is a detailed stamp, but it's not a super duper it's not a silhouette stamp with so lots and lots of dark lines on it, so you can actually easily stamp this with an acrylic block, and you can give it some shape when you place it on the acrylic block. And I can see that Leonie, certainly if she didn't think about it, when she sees Art Angel's sample, she's going to be playing with it. Another lovely one here with Juniper on top of the veggie toadstool. Then we've got Juniper here, again doing some planting, and again the Art Angels use the roses down the bottom. Here's some fun again with the veggie line. You can see Art Angels shaped it. There's a bird bath and the garden boots. Another one with the veggie line there. Look at those little owls. There's a little owl sat on top of the gnome there. It's hilarious. Another veggie line. Here's another one with a bendy veggie line, and the garden door and the garden boots, secret passage. There's a multiple of the stone bridge. This is really clever, masking off some areas so you can do lines of vegetables using the vegetables from the veggie line. I really like that. That's really clever. Lots of inspiration, isn't there, from the design team? They are absolutely brilliant. Look at that poor gnome using the chair like a ladder, trying to get his boots on top of the toadstool. And of course you can mask off the door and have your gnomes peeping around the edge. I don't know what that gnome's doing in the bird bath. it's a gnome bath. Well, it might be big enough for the gnomes, you never know. And here Art Angels tipped the veggie toadstool upside down she's just put the roses from the garden boots in the top, and she's drawn a zip wire across for Willow to walk along. Very clever. And and that gnome's watering the gnome below. So is Willow. I don't know if they're trying to make him grow or think if they water him, maybe he won't be so limp and he'll be able to stand up. It's hilarious, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. So fantastic samples from the design team. I'm sure you will agree. Right, let's get cracking. Let's do some demoing. Let's move stuff aside and we will start. It's difficult to know which one to start with. I have a plan. Probably go out the window, but we have a plan. I haven't had much time to plan this because I was out all yesterday afternoon, too exhausted when I got back to do much. But let me finish my coffee. Let's just look at one of Bonnie's again while we're waiting. Let's see, which one should we look at? Decisions. Let's look at this one with the veggie line. And the little birdies. And you can see the spade from the garden tools is leaning up against the veggie line. You've got the little watering can from the garden tools on the left hand side there, and you've got a little trowel and a little fork and all of the little carrots, and the carrots come with the gnomes. A gnome in swimming trunks. That's hilarious. So you think about these things afterwards. So funny. They are really brilliant. Leonie's going to have a right old giggle tomorrow, I think. A right old giggle. Right, so let's crack on. Where's my bits? My blue. Right, so we're going to do something similar but different. It's going to be an amalgam of that one and that one. So it's going to be a merge of them two, or something like that. So, that one. That's it. So we've got a paper here from, what's it from? Shimmer Gust. Now, this is very sad. This is my Shimmer Gust paper pad. I've used every single sheet. Every single sheet in this pad I've used. So, not yet, but as soon as I have another order, I'm going to pull myself another one out. So Shimmer Gust. All of the Fairy Hugs paper pads are 6x6, 24 double-sided sheets, 24 designs, 2 sheets of each. So obviously 12 repeated twice, and they're 216 GSM. So this is Shimmer Gust, and Shimmer Gust has got lots of kind of bright yellows in it, and they make fabulous backdrops for you to start your designs off, especially with this release. It works really well. So what we're going to do is I've just trimmed it down to 5.5 inches square, and because we've got this kind of area here that's lighter. I mean, this is very different to the ones I was using, so it's very different to, say, that one, because we've not got the yellow in it. So we're more on that theme, really, which is from Frost Flight. I've only got one sheet of Frost Flight left. I've used loads. So we're going to just add some of the Fairy Floral stencil, which is on the show. There's 3 stencils on the show. There's Fairy Florals, there's Flow, and there's Fairy Spiral. So we are going to use all 3 of them. And I'm using some Distress ink. We're using Broken China. And we're just going to add some of the florals around the edge. I don't want them to be in the middle where that lighter area is. I just want it around the edge. Just adds a bit of interest and means that you don't have to actually do any stamping around the edge. I think that should do. Yeah. Okay. So obviously that's going to just wash off under the tap. So we've just got some florals going around the edge. Okay, don't worry, June, that's absolutely fine. June's going off to lunch. She's a lady that lunches. Right, so we're going into my stamping platform. I've treated you all to a nice clean piece of paper. And the acetate that you get with your stamps is super, super useful for things like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Secret Passage, which is the garden door, but with the door open. It's the same design, but like I say, the door's open instead. So if you fetch your stamp off the acetate sheet, you can use the acetate sheet to figure out where you want to have it within your piece of paper. So if I have it there, I've got a nice light area coming through there, which is quite nice. Right, so I'm laughing at June. I think that's straight. And then we're going to take Willow, our lovely fairy who's on her tippy toes, and she's going to be, actually she's quite dirty, so I can probably see where I want her anyway. If they're not dirty, just use your, if they're clean, use your acetate. So she's going to be inviting you in. Come on in, she's saying, right? So obviously, if I wanted to stamp her without a mask, I'm going to use a mask, but if I stamped the door first and then if I stamped her second, all her beautiful wings are going to be distorted or not as clear because of the door that is overlapping her wings. The rest of her body's okay. There's a little bit of a dress there, but you could move her over a little bit more if you wanted to and have her fully in the doorway and just a little bit of the wing. Doesn't really matter, but that's how we're going to have her, tiptoeing in the doorway, like so. Faff, faff, faff. So then we're going to pick her up, and then remember to move your acetate, and we're going to stamp her first. And I'm going to do her, because we're dealing with blues, I'm going to do her in Medieval Blue, Versafine Clair, rather than Nocturne, which is the black. Do make sure that you're butted right up to the corner, just in case you need to stamp her twice. The paper is kind of semi-coated, so it does mean that sometimes you get away without, or a lot of the time you get away without having to stamp them a second time, which is a win-win situation really. It does take the ink beautifully though. Just be careful when you come to colour in that if you've only just stamped it, that you don't rub your arms along it, because you will, or your hand along it, because it will smudge. It is a little bit of a challenge to put a mask on it when you've only just stamped. I do normally stamp and then put it aside and then do something else and then come back to it, I don't know, half an hour later, so the ink's had a chance to dry a wee bit. But obviously we haven't got time to do that this time. There she is. She's lovely, isn't she? Absolutely beautiful. And can you see she's got almost like a, is it called a rah-rah skirt? She's got like little blobby bits. I don't know what they're called. What they're called? You know, like a fringing, little fringing on the bottom of her skirt there. She's just really lovely, isn't she? And I love the way her hair flicks out. So this is Willow. And if you do order from me, which I hope you do, if anything goes out of stock, just click on that email when available button and you'll be notified as soon as I have it back again. I always restock the new releases as soon as I can. Obviously I wait until I've got a good size order before I can do it. Now what have I just done with Willow? There she is. Okay, so we've got a mask here. This is Woodware Masket sheet, and she's all cut out perfectly because of when I used her with the garden door. In front of the garden door, I had to cut her out completely. I do try and put her back on the backing. This is the faffy bit because I'm not stood up. I might have to stand up in a bit. It's mainly her wings I'm really concerned about. So let's just, because I don't need to worry about her feet. Just need to, you cut it, when you cut it out slightly inside the line so that it fits on nicely. Okay, that'll do. I reckon we're okay, because it's only those bit of wings that's going to go over the door. And we can take the acetate and put it back where we wanted it. It doesn't have to be exactly where we put it in the first place. You can change your mind and have it over a bit if you want to. But I think we had it like that. Take our stamp. Make sure this is facing the right way, otherwise your stamp won't fit over it properly. We can take our stamp, pop our stamp on top, and then pick it up. See, the legs don't want to, that's fine because we're not doing the legs. I am going to stamp this in a brown. Brown and blue go really well together. And we're going to do Pine Cone Versafine Clair. I do have all the Versafine Clairs in stock on my website and all of the Versafine Clair re-inkers. Really good idea to re-ink your pads rather than buy a new one. That's a tapping. They are really good quality photopolymer stamps made in the US. Never had any trouble with them at all. And I'm not very good at cleaning them, so but they will last a very long time. You need to pay attention to the area around where your mask is, because stamping, even there's a little lip normally, although it's very, very fine, there's still a little lip. So you need to just pay a bit more attention, which is why you cut ever so slightly inside the line rather than on the line when you cut your mask out. Let's see how it comes up. Little pom-poms, yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to go again though, because I will just want this area here, because this is the most silhouette-y bit. I'm just going to go again, because I want that to be nice and deep. Okay, it's better. Okay, we'll leave that there actually, because we're going to start the sentiment. So there's not a lot to this. I think it's really pretty. Sometimes less is more, and sometimes I think we get a little bit frightened of building a scene. So if you start really simple, then you find all the ideas flow and you build your confidence up. So that's your secret passage, and we can take off Willow's mask here, and you've got that really nice clear definition between where the fairy is and the door. So you've not got lines from the door on your fairy wings. I don't really like that. It bugs me. Keep them in the back so you're not hunting for them. And then all we're going to do is, like I said, I think this makes a really nice kind of new home card. And we'll put it up here actually, put it up the top rather than at the bottom, because I've put that a bit lower than I did before. So this is your Today and Always. We'll have it slightly over there like that. Can I get that there? Yes, I can. And we do that in the medieval blue as well. Obviously I'll colour it in as well, but you can see from the ones I've done here rather, so you can see very easily to colour in. Not a lot of colouring in to do. It just adds something to it. It's optional. like with the gnomes, when I did the sort of pattern building with the rotate, but I didn't colour that in. So it is completely optional. Sometimes it does just make them pop a little bit if you do add a bit of colour, and it gives you more definition between the fairy and the door. So that would then go onto just a piece of blue card. I'd probably ink around the edges as well. But it's really pretty, isn't it? Really pretty. Okay, so that's that one. That's your first one. Very simple. It's always a good, like I say, it's always a good way to ease yourself in, to do a really simple one to begin with, especially if you're treating yourself to lots and lots of the new collection. Okay, so that's that one. What's the name of the fairy? The fairy's called Willow. That one's called Willow. We're going to be using one of the other ones in a little while. So let's go a little bit more complicated. And let's pull in some of the stamps from previous collections as well. I say, look, it's nothing complicated. It's just, you just need to take your time, that's all. So we're going to do a variation. I thought, because obviously I'm not doing the TV anymore, we're going to do a variation of that one because there's quite a lot to it. I thought it might be useful to us to actually kind of build that up and fix a little mistake that I made on that one as well. So this is another paper from the Shimmer Gust, and you can see I've used all of my Shimmer Gust. So this one and the one I've just used are my last 2 pages from Shimmer Gust. So we're going to be using the Friendship Sunshine Sentiment. And as I said to you, Fairy Spirals, which is this stencil here, because of the way the spirals go, I think they kind of have a bit of an inference of a sunshine. So we're going to just do that first. So we want my yellow brush and some fossilised amber. And we're going to go in this side here because this is green, so I'm going to have this as the bottom. And we're going to have a bit of sunshine at the top. So let's have it here, I think. Oh, that's a lot of fossilised amber. That's going to be quite strong. Okay. There's our sunshine. You can definitely see that, can't you? The cheeky gnomes are funny, aren't they? They really are. I think that they're just going to get into so much trouble. They're going to be there's always a set, isn't there, that's the most popular, and it's either something that's dancing or, obviously in this case, the gnomes. Right, let's go into our stamping platform, and we'll do a bit of a layout. Oh, magnets! They always make me jump when they stick together. Okay, so we've got a plan again. So where's my Love Shack baby, B52s. If I can get it out. So we're going to use the Love Shack. So again, we're going to take the acetate off just to give you an idea of what's going to happen. So we're going to have the Love Shack baby is going to go here. Or maybe here even. Let's have it over from the sun a bit, like that. And we're going to have our veggie toadstool. Let's leave that on the acetate. So ignore all these bits. The veggie toadstool is going to go up like that. And then on my original one, I use the wooden fence. The wooden fence is really, really useful. So you can have the wooden fence coming out here, and then it can go out here as well, okay? Or we could use, and I think this is what we're going to do, just for a point of difference, so I'm not doing exactly the same card as before. It's not going to be exactly the same anyway, because it's a different paper. I think we're going to use the mini stone wall from the mini collection, and we're going to use that either side. And so that's instead of the wooden fence, but the wooden fence is definitely worth having for your garden themes things. And then we're going to have, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Well, I've got it out. I haven't got the stone pathway out. Where did I put it? That's the wooden one. I could use the wooden one. I don't want to. I want to use the stone walkway. So we're going to have the stone walkway coming out down there. It's on a bit skewy, but we're going to have that coming out. So that is the sort of position that we do want that love shack. So that's why I faffed it around there, to make sure that my love shack isn't too high up, so that the stone walkways are not kind of hanging in thin air. So this is available already. It's not one of the new release. It's been a while since Love Shack was out, actually. This is number 346. And we're up to 601 now, so there's quite a lot of stamps in the collection. So I'll pick that up. Obviously take the acetate away. What's the name of the stencil? This one, Jean. This one's Fairy Spirals. Okay, so let's stamp this, and let's stamp it. We'll stamp it in that brown again, I think, because we've obviously, because it's like a Tudor type building. I mean, you could do them in black. What did I do before? I think I did it in black before. Anyway, we're going to do it in pine cone. Just so that it looks like it's wooden beams rather than the black painted beams that they normally are. Always makes the camera wobble as well when I tap on it. I can't get around that unless I get a different desk, and that's not a priority. Lots of pressing. I know that where the dark areas are, so on the windows, that's where I need to press a little bit harder. Just give it a chance for the ink to settle in the paper. And I'm going to go again, just so it's a bit darker. Really beautiful stamp. I love this stamp. It's great when you have a collection come out when there's so many of the existing catalogue that will work with it, because it's an excuse to get your old stamps out. And there's just loads. I have set up, because I've got on my website at the top, Fairy Hugs is actually its own category, as well as being in the brand section. So if you just click on the little down arrow icon thingy next to Fairy Hugs in the main menu at the top, then you'll see you have paper pads, stamps, and all the stamps are split into collections. And I have set up a garden collection, and then you've got stencils as well. So already I pulled out loads of stamps into the garden collection, which I think would work very well with the new collection as well. So when you're shopping, do have a look at that, because I think that will help you. I know a lot of you have got a lot of the stamps already, but if you haven't, if you're new to Fairy Hugs, or you haven't got many, just have a look at that garden section, because there's 600 stamps now, plus I don't know how many stencils and paper pads. There's quite a lot to sort through. Right, where's my Love Shack? I'll put it back again. So I have got a mask for this, and I didn't use it when I did the original, and I wished I had done, because I found that my fairy toadstool, or my veggie line, right, veggie toadstool, was just went over the top there, and so I could see a little bit of it on my toadstool. So this time we're actually going to, shall we do it? If we mask it off, it's going to go behind. Let's see what it looks like. If you want it to be in front, then you needed to stamp the toadstool first, and then make a mask for the toadstool. Once again, it probably won't want to stick. Put it on the inside, okay. So we are doing a stone wall. So let's think. We do need to do this first before we do the stone wall on the other side. Of course, you can have lots of animals sitting on the stone wall, which is quite fun. You could see that overlaps it a little bit there, and that bugged me because I could see it through. You could, if you were doing it on a block, you can have it so it's angled. This isn't. This is just going to be straight, like so. Obviously, you've got a bit of the stencil behind it, but I'm not worried about that. I'm going to do this with a lighter brown. We do this with acorn. I did try and do this with my little mini archivals, but it wasn't as good as using the Versifying Clairs. I had to stamp it several times and it still wasn't how I wanted it, which is why my stamp is now very, very coloured, because it's stained with the archival. But you have to try these things, don't you? I just want more colours of Versifying Clair. So we give this a good old press. Might need to go again on this one. Let's go again. So it's nice and dark. Make it harder for my mask to stick, because I've got a mask for this as well. I actually quite like the pattern through this. Oh well, I quite like the pattern through that. Okay, so there's a veggie toadstool. And obviously we can hang the veggies off it if we want to. But I'm going to use something else. That's that. Let's do our stone wall. Where's my veggie toadstool thingy? There it is. So I've got a mask just for the bottom area. I haven't faffed up with a big one because this is where my stone wall's going to go. And it's going to go behind the toadstool. There, we're going to have that. Again, I've cut it slightly on the inside. It won't want to stick, that's for sure. Okay, that's that bit there. And I'm going to take the mini stone wall, not the big one, the mini stone wall, so it's all in proportion. And we go this side first. We'll overlap it so that there isn't a gap, because the stone wall is like the bigger one, has indentations each side so that you can actually extend it and do it longer. So if I actually did it close, then I'm going to have a gap, and I don't want that. So we're going to do that in Morning Mist, wherever I put Morning Mist. This, which is the grey. And you've got kind of, with the Shimmer Gust paper pad, you've got all this kind of texture going on anyway with it. So obviously that would get coloured in. So you don't worry about that. It's all masked. And when the mask comes off, then it all becomes apparent as to how it's going to look. I'm going to turn this around because I'm going to go off the page. I'm going to take our acetate, take the clear side, and we're going to go here like so. Grab my stone wall. I think it has got a right side and a wrong side. I think I did it upside down. I don't think it matters though. Is it going to go? Oh, look. I should have done it over a little bit more. I'm going to have to extend it. Flip, to put it politely. Yeah. Or you could put a wooden wall, a wooden fence this side if you wanted to. Mix it up a bit. I just think the big one would be too big. The big stone wall works well with the garden door. Pay attention to the gap. Well, it's not a gap, but the area just around your mask. Press that a little bit harder. The mask has wanted to, the mask has come up anyway, which is fine. Let's put that back on there and I'll show you. So you can see we've got that. Ignore the bit that's on the house because we won't worry about that. And now we want to extend this. I'm just going to do it by eye, I think. Did it go that way? And go there like that. I don't normally do that. I normally have my acetate, but if my acetate's dirty, I'm not going to manage it. So you can see, you can extend the wall. It's meant to fit together. And the big one's exactly the same. Okie dokie. So that's that. Just going to leave that mask in place just for one more thing. So we're going to do the wooden walkway. Thanks, Leslie. Don't worry, that's fine. Thank you. So now we're going to go to our stone walkway. And this is going to be the stone steps that are coming from the actual love shack. I don't know why I'm this way. I'll stay this way for a minute and then I'll turn it round. Let's pick that up. And we'll do this in the morning mist as well, so all the stonework is the same colour. Just take your time. Think about where you want your masks. Now I've done this, I realise that I probably should have stamped the toadstool first. But we'll see. We'll see. See how it looks. It's all right that it's behind. In fact, it's really quite cool actually to use both this one and the mini stone walkway and the wooden walkways, use them that way up, because then they become like pathways, or no, the walls in the field, so but coming towards you. I remember when we did the mini series that some of the design team did that. Right, let's get rid of this. What's that off? Oh, that's such a love shack. Let's get rid of this and let's see where we're at, and we can move that mask and we can see where we're going. This together. That's my stone walkway. Let's move this around the other way so I can see where I'm going with this. I like it up the right way. Okay, so now we can take this mask off. If we can get hold of it. There we go. So you see we've got the area around where the wall is, nice and neat. You've got the roof of the house, nice and neat, just with the toadstool behind it. You've got the join where the pathway is, that's nice and neat, and it's nice and neat on that side as well. So there's a idyllic cottage sat there. I'll put that away in a minute. Right, what do I want to have hanging from there? Do I want to have vegetables? You can see you can have vegetables hanging down there. But I think we will do what's my new favourite, which is the storyteller bits. So the storyteller is this boat from the Books 2 collection. So it's all kind of newspapers on it. But it's got these 3 lights which hang, which will also hang from our veggie toadstool. So we can have, let's have the long one there. And we'll have that one there. And a little tiny one just here. They do want to stick to you, they're quite hard to place. You can always do it with your block, but I'm lazy. I'd rather struggle like this. Right, so they're going to go there. I'm going to do those in that same grey, which is acorn. Not a grey, brown acorn. And then when you colour those in, you can colour them in yellow, but extend it out of the image, and then it's going to give you a glow. So there's our little lights coming down from the veggie toadstool. Ah, hi Art Angel. Hi Jean. Don't forget to catch up later. Why has everybody got visitors today? What is it about Tuesdays? I was showing your samples, Art Angel, with the veggie line, which are brilliant. They just made me giggle. I can just see that Leonie's going to giggle tomorrow. So that's your storyteller. Then we want some gnomes, don't we? We've got to have some gnomes. So let's have, I think there's this one that's really looks so grumpy. Let's have the grumpy gnome. In fact, which one did I want to have? Let me have a look. I've got some of them got masks for them. I haven't got one for the grumpy gnome. And if I put the grumpy gnome in here, In fact, I should have done them first. It's too late. He's going to have to go there. Grumpy gnome. If you want to make sure that your gnome's hats aren't kind of distorted at all by the background. This isn't too bad because it's a solid hat. Then stamp your gnomes before you do your walls as well. Then we've got the gnome that's doing the watering. So he's going to come in here. And he's going to be doing some watering. And then we're going to give him something to water in a minute. And this set's got, as I said to you, this set's got parsnips or carrots, it's got 2 baskets, and it's got a spade as well. And there's 5 gnomes, and they've all got different outfits on, and some of their arms are out, and some of them are, you know, he's leaning on something. So he could be leaning on the wall, except that wall's not now big enough for him. But he could be up there. He could be on the wall like that, watching what's going on. But I think he looks out of proportion now because he's the same size as him. He needs to be smaller at the background. But you know, you can play around and put them in different places. They are so funny, aren't they? No, their faces are they've got real facial expressions. This one is just so grumpy. You see, his eyebrows are kind of... he's like me sometimes. Yes, they can hold everything. That's what their hands are for. And also, so can Willow as well. She can hold things. And, of course, everything in the catalogue. There's lots of things in the catalogue that can hold things too. So, let's do the gnomes in black. This is your Nocturne. This one is I think this one is the foreman, this grumpy one. He's the foreman, and the gnomes aren't working hard enough. They look pretty good to me. They don't need doing again. So there's your gnomes. There's Grumpy Socks. Look at him. Look, he's so grumpy. Probably because he's still got his pyjamas on. And there's the watering one. Hilarious. There's always a fun. That's the thing I love about Fairy Hugs. There's always a fun element in all their releases, and if there isn't, we can put one in with their stories. So let's give him a basket. So you can have a basket in his hand there, like so. He's saying, "Hurry up, hurry up! I want to pick my veggies." So he's let's do a carrot there. So we do the basket in black. We want I'm going so many ink pads out here. Oh, that's so funny. It is so much. You did make good use of that chair. I've shown them all your samples, Angie. Yeah, they've seen them all. It's inspired, especially the zip wire. It's excellent. So we're using Rainforest for the carrots, the carrot tops. And he's got his little basket, and then he's watering that. So we just put a few more carrots on. Obviously, the more that you're doing in the scene, the longer it takes, but it's just the fun of it. Remember, this is just it's less than 6 by 6 because I've trimmed it down a wee bit. So So I'm just using the acetate to place that. Touch that off. We'll do another one. So it's not a big piece of card. Great for your journals though. You can make some real fun journal pages. Great for storybooks. Great for kids to use. I did mention it when I did my live on Sunday for Sentimentally Yours. I am looking into doing some workshops near where I live, and I'm going to see a couple of places in the next week or so to do some workshops, and we will definitely be doing some fairy hugs workshops. I think we just stick at the 3 actually. Yeah, we just do the 3. I might put some more on afterwards, but we'll just stick at the 3 for now because it's an odd number. He's not got many carrots, which is why this guy's so grumpy, because he's thinking, you know, is that all you've got? You've just got 6 carrots for me to pick. I don't know why he's watering them first before he gives them to. Maybe they're easier to get up if you water them first. My workshops will be near where I live in Fareham in Hampshire. So, because I'm not doing a lot of travelling. Right, okay, so we've got that. We want to have something else going on. So let's have what would be a giant caterpillar. This is the proportions. Mind you, this could be a fairy love shack. Well, it is, isn't it? So let's have this caterpillar up here, and we do him in rainforest as well. Oh, you're not too far away. That's, yeah. I've actually got quite a lot of customers around in the PO postcode and in the Southampton postcode, and I'm quite close. I'm about 20 minutes from Southampton and about 20 minutes from Portsmouth, so yeah. So yes, so there's our caterpillar sat on the wall. I think we might actually have it's so funny, just so it's completely in proportion, not. Let's just have, this is your garden boots. Let's pop one of the birdies from this. Let's have one of the birdies up there actually on the roof, because we can. Just one of them. We don't want to overdo it, do we? Let's have that. It might mean that we can't get our sentiment on now though. No, we'll be alright. So birdie, what colour should we have the birdie? Let's have the birdie in blue. So you can really add to it. You just go completely over the top. Here's our little birdie. He looks black, but he is blue. So he's from the garden boots. Oh, there you go. Couldn't see him. I feel we need something on the wall here. Because it's an empty wall. So there's a lot on. I know there's a lot on this. Let's go to, yes. Let's have a little kitty that's thinking, I want that bird. Look at the size of this cat. Oh dear. What colour do I need? I need black. There it is. A black pussy cat. The more the merrier. Yeah. This is the thing, when you've got them all, you can use them all. There's not many fairy hug stamps I don't have, and I absolutely love them, and this is the sort of thing that I want to do in my workshops. I want to give people access to all the stamps and, you know, perhaps do a demo, and then they can just play with the stamps and see what they can make. There he is. It's definitely after that bird. Right. The final thing is to give ourselves a sentiment. This is the mini cats. So these are smaller than Ed and Nala. So let's use our friendship is the best sunshine sentiment. I'm going to put that up here. Obviously I'd colour in. I might even add some more carrots over this side. I don't know. I haven't made my mind up. Sometimes less is more, even though this is definitely a more is more card or journal page or whatever you want it to be. Again, let's do this in black. That's not my black. Where's my black? There it is. Such a messy ink ruffler. There we go. So let's fetch that off, and then we'll show you what that would look like matted and laid. Oh, I was going to put wheelbarrow on as well, but that didn't happen, did it? Another set that is really good actually to use is this fairy berry set. So we could, pretend that, it would be too much on this one, but the fairy berries will fit around the Love Shack as well. So you could have those either side. That's an existing design as well. That was out when the Love Shack was out. So that and the wheelbarrow and the little berry here, that one will fit in the wheelbarrow. It's like I say, it's wonderful that there are lots and lots of stamps in the existing catalogue that are going to work with this collection. There's loads to look at, isn't it? It's not it's not Tanya, is it? It's Leonie. Tanya's not doing this show. Okay, so let's just fetch this out so you can see what it would look like on a piece of black card. Obviously it would be coloured in. So there's our black card, so it pops. Well, as soon as you pop it on, take it out of the stamping platform and pop it on something, then you've got, add a bit of colour to it and you've got a great scene. Obviously I'd probably do that in red so that the distress ink will disappear and you won't see so much of that, so that the top of the toadstool will really pop. But there's a lot to see, a lot going on, but it's a lot of fun, lots of fun. So that's your number 2. We'll do one more. So I've got another one planned, and we're going to use Veggie Line, and we are going to use some stamps from the existing catalogue again because we can. So this time we are using the flow stencil. So we've used all 3 of the stencils, and this is my last but one sheet from Frostflight. So you can see I've really used these paper pads a lot, and that's the other side. So we're going to use this side, and I've got a plan. So we're going to use the Veggie Line, and it's going to go down here. I'm thinking that this white that's going up here is a bit like a hill, and we're going to bring the bird bath in, and that's going to be on the top of the hill, and Veggie Line's down here. Okay, and we're going to bring in a mini owl, and we're going to bring in something else as well, which is a bit different. But I want to make this look more, I don't want these to be floating around. So what I've done is I've created a mask, and we're going to have it so that we've got a bit of ground here and a bit of land up there like that. So what we're going to do is, to begin with, is we're going to take broken china again. Probably won't need to dip. Or we might. Yeah, it's a bit light. Let's go again. My broken china's getting a bit well used because it's one of the original colours. So we've only got a bit of room, and I'm going to just bring it down a bit, I think, and we're going to have it like that as well. So we've got a couple of bits going on there like that. And then we're going to keep that, and we're going to go to, goodness knows what colours on there, certainly not the colour I picked up. I picked up shaded lilac because we've got a bit of a bluey lilac-y colour up there. So we're going to pop this back as near as we can, like so. And then we're going to bring in flow, like that. And we're going to bring a bit of flow in as well. Don't want too much, that'll do. So we've just got a little bit of flow going on there. In fact, let's bring a bit of flow up the top as well. Just a little bit, so you can just about see it. Very subtle. Okay, that's flow. And flow is the one that I used on there as well. And I've also used it around the edges of that one. And it is actually on some of the papers in Shimmer Gust anyway. You'll see it in there. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I've said you can manipulate it at Art Angel, and I showed the way that you do it, because obviously on a block it's easy to do, not so easy on a stamping platform, which is what I tend to do. Let's put some of these. Let's keep that all right. I've got too many ink pads out, and I'm going to end up picking up the wrong one because I know what I'm like. Let's put some of these away. All right. Oh, what was that? It's all right. Okay, so that's our base all done, and then we're going to go into our stamping platform. So this is going to be much simpler than the last one. The last one's the most complicated, uses the most stamps. This one's a lot simpler. So we're going to just use the veggie line of this. We're not going to give it any manipulation. You can go back to bed because I'm not feeding you now. You can wait. So you can put it up the hill, so you could have it so that it's like that if you wanted to. But like I say, on a block you can manipulate it. It's not, you can't do it in a stamping platform. You can do it to a certain degree, but not so much. Let's have it. I'm going to have it right over the edge there, like so. I'll do the bird bath separately. Oh, it wants to go out. Excuse me a minute. puppy tail. It's come to help. He's definitely not a help, he's a hindrance. He'd be sat outside meowing now, which will drive Nathan bonkers. Do I want blues? I don't want blues, I want brown. So we're going to go back to pine cone. Stamp that over this side. Come on off. Okay, see, that's not so good, that one. So I'm quite glad that it's in here. I did not let it sink into the card enough. That's better. Okay, there's our veggie line. Then we're going to stamp our bird bath, and we'll do that in the pine cone as well. See, on a block, if this was a block, you can move it however you want to. So you can have it going up the hill, down the hill. You can have it like Art Angel's done, saggy in the middle with a big fat gnome standing on top. That's the beauty of stamping with an acrylic block, and having that quite a thin central bit so you can manipulate it. You won't damage your stamp, it'll bounce back into the position that it's meant to be afterwards anyway. So that's your veggie line. Oh, where did that go on the windowsill? That's all right. Then we're having the bird bath. And bird bath's up the hill. So remember, this is like an abode. So it's got a little door and it's got 2 windows. And we've got quite a lot of houses in the Fairy Hugs catalogue. And they do houses and things really well. So we go for this in pine cone as well. And I've tended to colour mine all in kind of shades of brown, but obviously it should have water in it. But I figure that on my cards it's in a bit of a drought. He wasn't shooed out. He was scraping at the door. Pebbles is saying that I shooed Ed out. He was scraping at the door, so he obviously wanted to go out. And there's obviously no litter tray in my craft room, so I need to make sure that if he needs to relieve himself, he's got access to a litter tray. He's probably gone and sat in the conservatory in the sunshine. A little bit more. Shall I? Actually, it's pretty good as it is. I'm not going to give it any more. Change my mind. Okay. So you can see all the detail on that. Oh, there he is. I can hear him now. He's like, feed me. My big tummy's empty. Feed me. Again. He's not going to get fed by Nathan, that's for sure. He'll have to wait. He's hardly going to waste away. He's a big cat. Right, so what I thought would be really, really fun and really cool is if we actually use Misty, who's our ballerina fairy. And she's going to be performing on top of the veggie line. And I'm going to do her in Midnight Blue so I can hear Nathan dealing with it. Now, I've not used her for a little while, which is, like I say, it's brilliant that the new collection will work with so many of the existing designs because you get them all out. There she is, pretty little ballerina on top of the veggie line. I'm not sure if I've missed a bit there. Let's just give her a little bit more to her body, just in case I've missed a bit just under there. Okay, right. That's Misty. And she's one of the tiny fairies, so she's a really good price point. So she's on the veggie line. I think actually the gnomes are going to be well grumpy because she's on top of there. Because that's where her veggies are. We could even have the veggies growing down there. Maybe we'll do that as well. I thought we'd have one of the owls. So this is one of the mini owls from the current catalogue. On the edge of the bird bath, look, and because obviously owls look in all directions, don't they? So although he's facing that way, he's actually looking down at what Misty's doing. So I think we'll do him in, let's do him as a grey owl. Let's do him in Morning Mist. This is one of the mini owls. It's a shame actually that we don't have a gnome with his hands on his hips looking. So the grumpy one could just have his hands on his hips, and then I think he'd be very cross with Misty. So the owl sat on there looking down at her. Do I want to put the veggies on? I don't know if I want to put the veggies on. Let's have a look. Where's my veggie line again? What have I done with it? Just chucked it over here. Oh, I know, it's on the windowsill. Because we could put the veggies on there because she could be really winding the gnomes up, because she, rather than performing on an empty veggie line, she's performing on a veggie line that is a veggie line. So they've got little pegs. There's little pegs on the bottom for them to fit on the line, as if you were pegging out washing. Oh, stuck to my finger. Quite impressive that she's managing to perform on a line that's got vegetables on, really. Must be nice to show you how it looks with the veggies stamped actually. So I think we do the veggies in a lighter brown. We do it in unicorn. Obviously you could do them in colours if you wanted. Yeah, we could. Artane's just saying we need a second set. We could have the backs of the gnomes too, so they could be this side of the veggie line, looking at what Misty's up to. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe we will get another set. Yeah, and Pebbles is saying I could put a line of glaze on the bird bath. Yeah, you absolutely could do that. There's our veggies on our veggie line. And Misty performing on the top of it. The show must go on. Even though there's veggies hanging from it, she's going to perform no matter what. Let's hope she doesn't break a leg. Okay, so those are those bits. Let's see if we can bring in a gnome. Where's the gnomes? Where are you gone, gnomes? Gnomeo. Right. Let's have this one, maybe. Let's have that one. Do him in, let's do him in midnight blue as well. There he is. And we give him something to hold as well. So we could give him that smaller basket. So there's two baskets. This one's got lines on it. So he's got that little lined basket because he's just about to go and pick the veggies from the veggie line. And then he finds out that this is going on. He's not very impressed. He's going to go and tell the foreman about it. Reporter. There's the basket. So that's from the Garden Gnome set as well. It really is a kind of all-inclusive set, that one. You can just have loads of fun with that set. And then we're going to just finish off with a sentiment, and this is from the release where we had the sorcerers and the little wizards. This is everything is better with a little magic. We'll do that in the midnight blue as well. So we haven't used black on this card. There we go. I haven't used much I haven't used any foliage, have I, in these demos, so I do apologise for that, but I don't actually think I need to. So you pop this on some blue card. Obviously I'd colour in, ink around the edges, so you've got kind of almost like a bit of a wintry scene going on there. It's really cool, isn't it? Yeah. So Archangel's saying if you want to be able to do that, so you've got like the backs of the gnomes looking at something, just when you stamp it, just colour it. If you stamp it in black, colour it all in black, and then you've just got a silhouette. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll just give you a recap of what we've made, what I've made. Obviously, like I say, everything's going to be coloured in at some point in the next few days. So we started with this very simple one with Willow and the Secret Passage and the Today and Always sentiment. And I've used the Fairy Florals stencil in the background, and that's on a paper from the Shimmer Gust paper pad. Then we had this one, which was the one that took the longest because there's a lot to this. So again, this is on Shimmer Gust. We've got the Fairy Spiral stencil, Love Shack, the Mini Stone Wall, the Veggie Toadstool, the Storyteller Lights. We've got a mini caterpillar, we've got a mini cat, Friendship Sunshine, one of the new sentiments, a little birdie from the Garden Boots. We've got the Garden Gnomes, which includes the carrots, and we've got the stone walkway on that one. And then finally the one that I've just done, which is this one where I've used the veggie line, Misty, we've got the Garden Gnome, the Flow stencil, the Bird Bath, one of the mini owls, the little magic sentiment, and I've used the I don't know if I said the Flow stencil, I did, and the Frostlight paper pad. So like I say, I hope you've enjoyed that. You will find all the products on my website from midnight tomorrow night. That's midnight on Wednesday the 19th of April, for shipping to UK addresses. And you will also find them on fairyhugs.com for worldwide shipping from some point tomorrow. And just to remind you that the Leonie is going to be demonstrating them on Create and Craft tomorrow at 11 AM and 3 PM. And do remember to check out my other videos on my Julia Watts Crafts YouTube channel. It would be lovely if you would like and subscribe on there and give me a comment on there. It would be really lovely. I like to read your comments. Also, there's the Fairy Hugs store YouTube channel as well. I've got some of my videos I've copied and put on there, and also you'll find all Bonnie's videos on there as well. And it just leaves me to say